So we just brought in a bunch of steel beams, we brought in a bunch of columns, and obviously these beams and columns we can start placing. So for example, this column we can place at this grid. You'll notice when I go to place this, I'm just going to click it over here for a second. When I place this, it's going to disappear. If we change this to be height, it will go above, and then when we place, we can actually see that column there. The other column is there, but it's just going downwards. So that's why we don't see it. It's just going below versus up. So that's how you change that. The next thing I forgot to bring in was a caisson. And so I think instinctively you'd think, okay, well, let's do a foundation because that's what a caisson is. I actually do my caissons as concrete columns, not as foundations, because I think you have more control over their parameters. So if we go here, we go to insert, we go to load Autodesk family. And again, these folders are the exact same thing in the load families. And so we're going to go to concrete, and we're just going to bring in a circular round column here. Or not circular, but just round column, I guess. And it's probably going to bring in all of its different types. And so we have 300, 400, but we need a 1.2 meter one, right? So we'll just go here to edit type, and we'll duplicate this. And I always like to update my naming. So we'll just call this 1200 millimeter. And we can adjust this to be, I mean, you could also type just 1.2 M just to make your life simpler there. And I don't know why this is doing that, but so now we can go back to here. With the caissons, we'd want to place these caissons with depth. But again, after you place them, I always like to go to 3D view just to verify where they went. So we can just grab this and we can go from our level 1, and we can go down. Let's just do -1 meter down for a second. And then let's just make this to level 1. And we'll make it, actually, we'll make it probably -400. Because if you remember the sketch I did on the board, we want our columns to be below our slab. So I'm going to set that at probably -400. That might change later, but this caisson is now going below. So that's how to set up the caissons and get those working. And then again, when we have our loading bay area, we would just drop that caisson even further down. So right now, I guess technically this is like down like -3.2 meters. But eventually what I'll do is I'll add a datum line. So I'm not adjusting the base offset. I'm actually just attaching that to the bottom data line, which is our bottom of caisson. And that just makes your life a little bit organized, because then if you shift them down, it'll shift all of them down at the same time. So that's a caisson. And then this column, once you place your columns, you want to do the same thing. So I just do -400 for the steel column. And now that way that column is sitting on top of that caisson. When it comes to modeling, I would not model that base plate. We would just detail that base plate in a drawing. So I would physically just show that column going all the way down to the footing, and then the steel fabricator would take care of actually putting that base plate. I wouldn't model that. I think that's just too much stuff to model. If you wanted to show it from an architectural detail perspective, maybe you would, but for the purpose of this, we don't need to model that. So that's how to set up caissons.